The Sad Cloud. In a quiet village nestled between mountains, there lived a young boy named Yusuf. Yusuf was 9 years old and loved exploring nature and gazing at the clear blue sky every day. One morning, as he stood by the window of their small wooden house, he noticed something unusual. The sky was perfectly blue, yet there was one large, sad cloud floating on the horizon. The cloud was dark, as if it carried something heavy, a deep sense of sorrow. This was strange to Yusuf because he was used to seeing clouds move freely, gather to bring rain, or cluster into beautiful shapes. But this cloud was different. He felt it wasn't like the other clouds he usually saw in the sky. A peculiar feeling overcame him as he observed the cloud, as if it held a sadness he couldn't quite understand. Intrigued, he decided he had to uncover the mystery of the sad cloud. Yusuf prepared for his journey. He packed some food and water into his small backpack, then hopped onto his bicycle and headed toward the mountain behind their village. The mountain was tall and covered in dense trees and large rocks, making the climb to the top a challenge. But Yusuf loved adventure and exploration, and nothing could stop him from going there. As he made his way through the thick forest, he felt something unusual in the air. It was cold, and although the sun was shining brightly, there was a lingering sense of sadness that he couldn't quite explain. When he finally reached the mountain peak, an extraordinary scene lay before him. The sad cloud was there, floating in the sky, as if waiting for someone to speak to it. Yusuf stepped forward and said softly, "Hello, why are you sad, dear cloud? The sky is beautiful today, and the air is refreshing. Why don't you smile?" To Yusuf's surprise, the cloud spoke in a clear, quiet voice, "Hello, Yusuf. I am sad because I cannot be like the other clouds. The others move to bring rain to the earth, nourishing flowers and plants. But I am just here, floating aimlessly in the sky. I can't help people or animals, and I feel useless." Yusuf felt a pang of sadness at the cloud's melancholic words. He had always believed that everything in nature had a purpose and value. He thought for a moment before saying, "But you are very beautiful. You add charm to the sky. Even though you don't bring rain, you make the sky more magical. You give it a special touch, and I think that's important." The cloud responded with a broken voice, "But people don't see me that way. They think that clouds without rain are useless. They believe I offer nothing, and I don't want to be meaningless." Yusuf pondered the cloud's words, then smiled and said, "But every cloud has its role, even if it's not what we expect. You enhance the beauty of the sky. Although you don't bring rain, you help people appreciate the wonder of nature. Perhaps we don't see it now, but you are doing something special, just like the other clouds." The cloud took a long pause, reflecting on Yusuf's words. It didn't know how to feel after their conversation, but slowly, it began to notice the beauty of the sky around it. The sky was a clear blue, and the golden rays of the sun gently touched its edges. The cloud started to feel something different in its heart. Perhaps there was value in simply being a beautiful cloud floating in the sky, perhaps it was contributing to something greater than it had thought. Yusuf smiled and said, "If you can't grow flowers or bring rain, you can at least be a source of happiness for people. Just look at them as they gaze at you. Look at the children racing in the streets, lifting their heads to the sky. Look at the adults standing in their gardens, admiring the clear sky with joy. You bring them happiness just by being there." The cloud thought deeply about Yusuf's words. It had spent so much time feeling sorrow because it couldn't do what the other clouds did, but now it began to see that it had a special role in this world. Its role wasn't to be like the other clouds but to be the cloud that added beauty to the sky and brought people moments of happiness and peace just by existing. A new feeling began to fill the cloud, like a beam of light entering its heart. Perhaps it couldn't do what the other clouds did, but it could still be part of something beautiful. It started to smile in the sky and decided to embrace its moments with pride and joy. As Yusuf prepared to descend the mountain, he looked back at the cloud. It hadn't changed much in appearance, but it seemed brighter, happier. It looked as if it were smiling at him, as if it had understood his message. Perhaps it couldn't be like the other clouds, but now it knew it held great value in the sky and in the hearts of those who saw it. As Yusuf descended the mountain, he felt a sense of peace and contentment. He had learned an important lesson. In life, we might sometimes feel we lack purpose or don't fit in, but that doesn't mean we are without value. Everything in life has its unique place and purpose, even if it isn't immediately clear. The next day, as Yusuf played in the field near his home, he looked up at the sky again. The sad cloud was no longer there, but it hadn't truly disappeared. It had transformed into something different, something beautiful and new. Yusuf, too, had changed after the experience. At that moment, he realized that life is full of things we don't see until we give them a chance to reveal their meaning. And he knew that the sad cloud had taught him that the value of things doesn't lie in comparing them to others but in how they make a difference in this world.